Well, afternoon all. We have a little bit of blue sky. The sun is just going down, literally, so it'll probably be dark within 5 minutes, something like that. Yesterday I went out with the RX10 and we had Storm Bert, who was a bit windy. So down on the beach, I put a video up, so go and check that one out if you haven't seen it already. But looking at older cameras and the brand new up-to-date cameras, so you've got the new A1 Mark II has just come out, and yeah, it's got some updated features and everything, which the more you read into it, the more you look at it, it's actually obviously a very, very good camera. A lot of people think it's too expensive. Is it? I don't really know. You know, it is a case of it is what it is, and that's what they decided to charge. Obviously, you've got Canon and Nikon variations, which seem to be cheaper, but Sony have decided to stick that 6,299, I think it is, price tag on it. Am I going to buy one? Obviously, I use the A1 Mark I now, and my sort of initial thoughts are no. Mainly because the camera that I use now is incredible. It does 99% of the stuff I need it to do. I've obviously got the RX10 as well, which is a 7-year-old beast. Still not replaced, sadly, but it still produces fantastic shots and gives you so much range and usability. It's awesome. You know, yeah, it's a game changer in the world of photography generally. But the A1 Mark I, for me, is the reason I bought it is because of how fast it is. So even today you can go from, you know, doing full bursts, you know, flat out 30 frames a second straight into video with no drama whatsoever, and you know, it doesn't miss a beat. I think 95 to 99% of the shots I capture are bang on. Obviously it's not quite as intelligent on the autofocus, but it just means you have to maybe push a button or, you know, use a slightly different technique than you would do with the new A1. Obviously it's got this new AI chip and everything in there, which is just a little bit more intelligent basically. Yeah, I mean, you've got the pre-capture, which I don't really use. I'm a bit of I like a challenge. So, you know, if I can capture a bird taking off and I get the shot just as I wanted it, I'm pretty pleased with that. If I've got pre-capture, it's a pretty, yeah, it's useful, but it's a bit of a dead set, isn't it? You know, it's obviously got better ISO control, which is good, I suppose. But again, the A1 is awesome. You know, in the real world, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Its other updates obviously is the rear screen. So gone away is just the normal pull-out screen. It's now got a 4-axis flippy, rotatey thing, the same as the A9 III, and I think on the A7R5 as well, isn't it? The same one, or a slight variation of. The EVF obviously is very good still, and the grip is slightly bigger, I think, or slightly, well, it's A9 III, isn't it? It's exactly the same as A9 III body-wise, so it's just another generation on slightly more comfortable, slightly better grip and button layout and everything like that. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But I think for the moment I'm going to carry on using my A1. At the end of the day, I only paid I think 4,400 or thereabouts for my A1 brand new from Panama's, and it's been absolutely perfect since, you know, since I bought it. So, you know, it's a fantastic bit of kit, and you know, trade-in value is probably 2.5 to 3 grand max. So I'd still have to find another 3,300 quid just to upgrade, just for those few extra functions that, yes, I would use them if I had them, but it's not a game changer, you know, in the fact that I desperately need them. So I think for the moment I will save my money and maybe buy one further down the line, a couple of years or something like that, or see what comes on the next generation, or see what else they bring out in the future, that something else I might need. So I think when we buy a new camera, a lot of the time we just go, oh, it's the newest, best one, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's the same with mobile phones. But in reality, they still do the same job, don't they? And it's just a case of thinking, do you really need those functions? Are you desperate for those functions? Can you afford it, obviously? You know, and all that sort of side of things. So in reality, you know, as you get older, you get a bit wiser, I think. For me, I'm going to hold back. More importantly, if Sony would actually release a Mark V RX10, that would be a game changer. that would be a definite purchase, because you know, this is getting a little bit old. It does work brilliantly still, and it still takes fantastic shots. It still gets you the shots that I would have missed with an A1, you know, because I probably have the wrong lens on. This thing can go, you know, 24 to 600 f4, you know, and it gets you the shots. And basically back when the A9 had came out, you know, so we had sort of A9 speed in an all-in-one. So it was a fantastic bit of kit when it first arrived, and it still is today. Just buffer speed and everything like that is its real hindrance. Battery life, don't really think it's that bad of a drama, you know, because they're small and you can put them in a pocket. So if Sony were to update it, which we think is never going to happen, they could release an absolute beast. Back to the A1 Mark II. Again, like I say, it's a fantastic bit of kit. There's lots of people out there slagging it off, saying, oh, it hasn't got this, hasn't got that, you know, and they're charging £2,000 too much, and this and another. It's kind of got to stay in line with all the other market, hasn't it, and their own line of actual cameras, hasn't it? So, you know, I was expecting it to be about £8 grand, you know, for a flagship as such, which kind of would have been out of most people's price ranges generally. But if they had charged a couple of extra thousand on top of what it is now, you'd expect it to be full-on nut machine. But obviously maybe the technology isn't there yet, you know, the speed and, you know, just how they can make it run. You know, it's a lot easier to say, oh, they could have just done this with a firmware, or they could have done that with a firmware, or they could have done that with just an extra small chip. It's a lot deeper than that in technology-wise, you know, and testing and actually making something run off one battery, you know, at a certain voltage that's going to last a good few hours or whatever, without overheating. There's always those things involved that I think we sort of take for granted, don't we? We buy these amazing bits of kit, and it doesn't matter if it's your mobile phone camera, or the A1, or the Z9, or Z8, or Nikon R3, or whatever, Hasselblad. They all work really, really well, and the image quality today blows your mind, and how good the cameras are. And a lot of the time, even though you've got maybe the best of one out there, you could take a shot with a cheaper camera, and I don't think most people would actually realise which camera was used, because the detail and everything is still pretty up there now. But you're paying for the functionality and the usability. A lot of people buy these cameras and they don't get the most out of them. One, because of actual experience of using the kit. Two, they buy it for one particular use, so they might just do wildlife and that's it, and they're not interested in any of the other features. They might not even shoot video. So, you know, they're buying it for a particular purpose. With me as a person, and in a personal sort of look at it, I do so many different types of photography and videography. For me, the A1 was the perfect purchase, basically, and it's allowed me to do so many different things now, so many different jobs and things like that, with the ease and use of that camera. And you know, it's been fantastic. So yeah, at the moment I'm going to hold back and see what happens. Prices and stuff like that may change, you just don't know. You know, I might pick one up for about £4 grand or something in a year or two, but we'll see. Like I say, at the moment, you know, I'm still using a 7-year-old RX10, end of the day, which still takes amazing shots. End of the day, the cameras don't suddenly become shit. You know, the cameras that we have now, even if you don't upgrade, are still amazing, and people forget that. They're just interested. They suddenly go sort of blinkers on, don't they? And they're like, oh, new shiny brand new camera, and we've all done it. You know, I've done it, but you know, as we think about things more, especially where things have become more expensive over the last 5 years, I'm definitely starting to think differently on how you spend your money and how long you keep a piece of equipment, and how you can utilize that to your best advantages, you know. Yeah, so anyway, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And you know, have you bought one? Have you ordered one? Have you got the A9 III, for example? Who's using the RX10 Mark IV? It'd be interesting to hear. Yeah, anyway, go and check out my other videos as well, and I shall see you soon for another one. And now it's getting dark and cold. So yeah, unfortunately, there's no moon. I thought the moon would have been up, but anyway, we shall catch you later. Take care.